What's up, everybody? Well, on a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about Resident Evil Requiem. They actually did far more than I thought at the Capcom showcase. Not only, I believe, showing us what they showed the media. We get a lot of first-person angles, a lot of third-person angles. We see the monster, stalker-type enemy, right? Very, very scary. I can see how that's terrifying. All looks so good, okay? So we got to see a little bit of that, some puzzles, all that jazz. Very much, again, looks probably like that 30-minute preview that the journalist got. But what I really want to focus this video on is one specific quote that's got the internet, including myself, going crazy, and it's about Leon. Now, another thing about this is it's taking place 30 years after the bombing of Raccoon City, puts Leon in his very early 50s. And so they bring him up. What I want to do, I want to read the quote out loud. I want to talk about how weird this is all getting, okay? Is Leon playable in this game or no? And I don't really know why we have to go through what we're going through right now, but I guess it's fun. So the quote is, "We always thought about making Leon the protagonist, but making a horror game based around him is difficult. He wouldn't jump at something like a bucket falling. No one wants to see Leon scared by every little thing, so he's actually quite a bad match for horror," and that comes from the director of Resident Evil Requiem. Now look, I think the idea is probably right, like to put Grace in, and they talked about her, I think, right before or right after that quote, where they say they wanted her to kind of match the player, right? Like if we're scared of that monster, she's scared of that monster. It's only because of the FBI training she's able to use a gun in the first place, right? So all fine. I mean, I can understand the whole linking up, trying to make players and the character itself feel like the same thing, okay? But let me just say something. They are playing the longest game of their life here with Leon, and it's like, do we even trust them? Do we trust anything they say? This is the same company that literally 2 weeks ago, in the middle of Summer Game Fest, says, hey, you're going to have to wait a little bit, while longer, and then half an hour, 45 minutes later, they showed the trailer. So it's like they were right, but they also weren't right? And in this case, it's like, so, I mean, the exact line is, we've always thought about making Leon the protagonist. So the protagonist is Grace. So what does that make Leon? Does that make him a playable character? Does that make him the second protagonist? Basically, how can they still be right while misleading and almost meaning something different by their words? I guess that's what I'm getting at, because, okay, I mean, I think some people could look at that and say, okay, well, there's your confirmation. Like, it's just not happening. I would say, like, it's possible. You don't want to rule that out. You probably want to give that some percentage shot. But when you're going into a video game, okay, the game is not out yet. You're going into the game. How often do you see developers talking about what could have been? Do you ever see that in the history of ever? Because my answer, just thinking off the top of my head, is no. You never see that kind of stuff. I mean, there's lies sometimes. I always think back, I think Neil Druckmann talked about with The Last of Us that you won't play as Ellie in The Last of Us Part 1, and you do. But she's not the main playable character, in that game. So he did lie. He outright lied. But that's really one of the only times it's like, you don't even want people thinking it. And I guess for something like this, it's like, well, why would you even say it out loud, right? Like, say it's an average person off the street, and they don't even know the rumor that Leon is a main character, a playable character. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, some people aren't like that. And it's almost like they're feeding it. It's almost like they know people are thinking about Leon. They know people have speculated that Leon is in that first trailer, in voiceover, right? And it's like, so they're almost playing into it and saying, yeah, once upon a time, in fact, he would have made the perfect protagonist. He was the protagonist for a bit in our head, and then we realized, like, he doesn't get scared easily, and then we kind of dropped him. It's like, those are things you mainly hear after the game comes out, right? Like, you find out the Ada scrap sequence in Resident Evil Village. I think that was after Village came out that you found that out. It's, you know what I mean? It's, I just don't understand why you would do it now, because you're almost feeding into it, and it's like, well, nobody's really, I mean, yes, we're speculating it, but nobody's like asking you to, you know what I mean? Like, you should wait until the game comes out, and then you say, hey, you want to know a fun behind the scenes game development story? Leon was actually once the protagonist, and then he wasn't. And it's like, you say that after, not before. So I feel like just the simple fact that they said it at all means he's 100% in the game, and I think definitely now he's playable, like without a shadow of a doubt. I want to lean into it. I do. I think you could probably give some percentage that they are just outright telling you it, but again, like, why? Like, are they so rattled by the leaks and rumors, they really want to make Dusk Golem look bad. I mean, possibly, but I really just don't think so. You know what I mean? They want to make him look so bad, look like an idiot, and so they put part of their presentation on literally debunking something, right? It's like, would you waste time doing that, or are you playing into it and you're saying, yeah, you know, he would have been the protagonist, but now he's not. At this point, though, this whole 50-50 thing, I don't think that's going to happen. I think my prediction right now is Leon's in the game. Leon is playable in the game, but he's only playable in certain segments. I don't think and that's why I wanted to use, like, words carefully, like, and how do you use, you know, protagonist, main character, playable character. You know, I guess there's a couple different ways of saying it. The main protagonist of Requiem is Grace. Can Leon still be a main character? Well, movies, shows, games, they can have more than one main character. I guess in my definition, maybe to some people it's like, okay, well, no, main. It's like one thing. So if that's how you want to look at it, then she is literally number one and he maybe is like number two. And I would agree, there would be like a tier separating them. If you play as her for 12 hours, you play as him for 6. You know, you don't play as them equal hours. I would agree with that. Could you still call him main character, protagonist? You know, and that's the tough thing. That's like the wording. It's like, how seriously do you want to take their literal word of protagonist? Well, is protagonist the same thing as main character? Depends on your definition on that day, I guess, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on it right now. You let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.